It really does feel like that show. I think on my chin right now, Brian. I think my wife tried to flag this.
Yeah, you're good.
Am I good now? All right.
Yeah.
Had calzone on my chin. I think it's crazy that it was a week ago that we had Chess is okay on. It truly feels like an eternity. I don't know if this is just a product of the season and time flying, but lot of drama ensuing since that interview.
Yeah, I think like a month ago, I said there's not a lot of drama going on in DFS. That changed quickly.
I know. Yeah, because I feel like I know you keep tabs on the poker world maybe a little bit more than me. I saw Taylor Caby was on the Doug Polk podcast. I got to check that out. But I feel like the poker world just has way more beefs. There's just way more kind of like, I'm better than you, fine, heads up for rolls, staking shit. Something about DFS, though, we had been in a lull basically since the Osimo and Empire Maker head to head. And boy, things picked up this past week.
Yeah, it's definitely more in poker. Also, head to head DFS is kind of lame. And that's really the only way to decide it. And like most pros are GPP pros, I think,
Right.
So it's like, what are we going to cheat GPP? We're already in competition as hard as we can. Like, what's the test going to be?
Yeah, I mean, you basically need, like the Negreanu and Polk thing where they had a pretty big sample size there. I guess even the Phil Galfond challenges, they had a ton. I mean, you basically have to agree to be playing like just so many slates. And I think that would be the true kind of testament. And you would have way better thoughts on this than me, but just this idea of playing multiple sports, like a bunch of slates over a long period of time and just really try to get rid of as much short-term variance as possible.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's poker also too is like, who's the best poker player of all time is still a debate. Cause like, I don't know, the person who won the most money is the best cash game player, the best tournament player, the person who play all the mixed games.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I'm honestly not even, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like poker or DFS, like in lists, stupid like clickbait listings don't do it for me.
Yeah.
Although I did rank the top 3 NBA DFS players of all time.
Did you?
I tweeted it out. Yeah.
I missed this. I can tell this is a joke by how you're setting this up. What was your tweet?
It was Chess is okay, Petty Theft, and the Evil Empire.
Okay.
Those
Okay.
Top 3.
What I haven't I didn't get to listen to Petty Theft on Blender's podcast yet. I assume is that something you're referencing?
No, that's been the better tweeted out his Evil Empire tweet.
Yeah, the reason I got tripped up for a second is because wasn't Doug Polk's early poker crew with like JMO and stuff, weren't they called the Evil Empire as well? I think that's what they called themselves.
Honestly, he was even like at after my time.
Yeah.
Just a little bit, like, because he was like low stakes when I was still playing, and then he played after Black Friday. I stopped. I recognize his name. So like I wouldn't know.
Yeah. But yeah, let's the chat is all talking about Ben the Better. I mean,
there was the ship at Halabalas. That's all I remember is those guys.
Okay.
Those guys.
So Ben the Better put out a tweet where he said, is the implication that he's launching his own kind of like tout service called the Evil Empire?
Or is Osmo, Roto Grinders, and Fantasy Labs the Evil Empire?
Right. That's what I wasn't sure. And I think I honestly, I love this play by him. I think there are some things we need to tighten up. He did want people to use the banner as their profile pic on the DFS sites, the horizontal kind of panoramic nature of it didn't really lend itself to kind of a circular avatar. So I do think we need to kind of workshop a few things from a branding perspective. He missed out on Awful Mo. Luckily, Lou Dog, I saw, hooked him up with a Photoshop there. But I love it, man. We had the Calvin Hobbs pissing on the Roto Grinders Fantasy Labs and Awful Mo. I feel like he's onto something here.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that's his idea for a site. So he's got to be Evil Empire. Man, the gods are angry over here tonight. I don't know if you could hear the thunder.
I can hear the thunder. Yeah.
I'm assuming Evil Empire is him. That's why I said Evil Empire, top 3 player of all time.
Yeah, he was, and he did. What was the tweet tonight? He said he was going to post like 20 head-to-heads, and I assume they got scooped up. Were you able to grab one?
I didn't bother.
Did you though? Because I fired a bullet in the Toadz contest.
I sure did.
Was it? Do you think Osimo was trolling when he said he maxed it?
Oh, probably not. He's a bit of a degen.
I feel like I'm off to a good start though. I have Duarte here, right?
Yeah. Okay. Good. I had a bunch of him today.
Okay. 22.75.
Who else you got in there? And you just revealed your lineup.
Oh my God. Do you think Osimo just screenshotted it, is now making late swaps to exploit me?
He's going to dupe you now.
Dude, nothing would make me more. You know what? Actually, the way live final seats work, right? Like if you tie for one of those, don't you normally have like a head-to-head runoff? Like if you tie for a CryptoPunk or whatever, an NFT, are they going to make us play a head-to-head for it? Or could I just say, hey, let's take this to fractional and Osimo and I will joint own this Toad? I
bet they'd let you compromise. Who knows though? Well, they can't. It doesn't matter. It's like poker. It doesn't matter. Like remember they used to make the rules where for the TVs they wouldn't let you split first place.
Oh yeah,
like in the mid 2000s, late 2000s. Like, well, you could just go in the bathroom. Like, we're gonna split, right? Yeah, okay. And then
isn't that what ended up happening at all those? It was all under the table deals.
Sure, yeah. So definitely possible. I don't know about heads up. I don't know about 2 players, but I know I've tied a few times, and it does go to a runoff. But that was with more than 2 players.
The chat, apparently I mushed him. The second I put him on the screen, Duarte went to the locker room.
Damn it.
Brian, do you want to? There's 2 times that I've tried to play NBA DFS. The first time was the night the league shut down, the Rudy Gobert night. And the second night, my guy on victory lapping gets hurt.
How bad was that injury? I actually need him.
Yeah, I mean, but he was so cheap. Like, hasn't he almost already paid off value in the first half?
You want to win a Toad, buddy? You need a lot of points.
You're right. Get fucking back out there, man.
Get him back out there.
We need a 10x.
We're not getting cash, Pete.
I'll take a cash.
We want a fucking Toad.
God, that's the most inspiring thing I've ever heard. We're not trying to cash, Pete. We want a fucking Toad. Imagine telling that to yourself a year ago and trying to understand what you were referencing.
I'm like, what's the payout structure? Oh, there's just one. Like, okay, I'm almost definitely not playing. Yeah. And what is this Toad?
You're like, oh, it's a shitty, pixelated, 8-bit looking motherfucking Toad that's all scrunched up.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, no. that Taylor KB interview, I don't want to ruin it for you. He was into punks early. Oh, you probably know that anyways.
Yeah.
With your bros, the ETR guys.
He was one that was helping us when we were picking out our first punk because he was so deep in those streets. So he had kind of a good eye for those traits.
He needs more peer pressure. If I could have just shifted my Top Shot role to punks.
I know. Can you imagine if we weren't sitting on a dusty cosmic and you and I were fractionally invested in a punk? I mean, what were we thinking?
Oh yeah. Well, with all the ones I bought, me and Pat really actually.
Yeah, you and Pat, like, you guys went ham. Like, even I had to tap out. I was like, you guys knock each other out because
he was encouraging me. And yeah, but I don't know, probably wouldn't have done it anyways. But yeah, it would have been instead of no money, it would have been, millions of dollars.
I think Honestly, I still think you're going to be fine. It's just having to
Yeah.
be far more patient than you would with CryptoPunks.
Yeah. Yeah. Top Shot. I mean, I don't know. They're still printing a lot, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's still pretty cool.
Yeah. It's funny too, because I remember, some of those discussions we had all about kind of like the rent seeking and, letting the market just play out. And it has been nice to, as someone who's been minting a bunch of these like NFT projects and just trying to flip and stuff, that, you see the market adjusting. Like we're clearly at oversaturation with these kind of profile pick projects. You can see everyone coming in trying to flip, the price and the floor cratering because no one actually believes in the project. And it is kind of, to your point from before, it is kind of refreshing to see like the market just play out naturally. People can keep spinning up rugs, they can spin up dusty, shitty projects, and the flippers can come and continue to try to speculate, or they get burned enough that they say, okay, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah. It's the Wild West, right?
Yeah.
And that's the best time to be in it. You're going to get burned, like just like poker sites would go down, sports books would go down in the early 2000s and stuff, or just not pay you. There's nothing you can do about it, but it's the best time to try to make some cash.
Yeah, because there's so much asymmetric upside with that stuff still, even though things are cooling out. Like, yeah, you might lose, 0.1 or 0.2 ETH, minting 5 of these, but like some of these projects will have a 1 ETH floor in a couple months or something. So you can see the way that moves. Although we're now in a really interesting spot right now where we're hitting all-time highs for Bitcoin. I believe Ethereum's almost up to its all-time high.
Close enough.
And you can see the price action on the NFTs slowing down, and it makes sense, right? Like where it's like, okay, we're flipping. I'm looking at my account value, and it's like, I don't want to spend this ETH that's value just continues to go up on an illiquid JPEG, and the market is kind of slowing down in reaction to that.
Yeah, I asked you about this a month ago or whatever. Like, what's going on with that? Because for me, I'm like, well, what if Ethereum doubles in a week? Like, I don't want to be holding this fucking goon. I don't want to be holding 10 goons and eat doubles.
Yeah. No, I think that's a common sentiment for people, and because a lot of the sites too, like as much as things are denominated in Ethereum, OpenSea still shows you the US dollar value. And like you start to get some real sticker shock on some of those things when you see how much you're spending in US dollar value. I mean, it's wild what you can justify in Ethereum. And then when you really are like, holy shit, this is now worth 4,200. Like what am I doing right now?
It's it's crazy. It's a lot of gambling bros in there. I'm surprised the normies have got in, like enough normies have got into it, but they have. I think because of the effect you're talking about, when it's just in ETH that they bought for $25 in ETH, 8 years ago.
Yeah.
They're like, well, whatever.
Yeah. Well, the irony is this then becomes the best time to buy NFTs because you're getting huge discounts. It's like, it's the whole thing about always contra-trading like your emotions, right? When right now everything in your body is sell, just put it all into Ethereum. Well, it's probably actually a good time to buy the projects you actually believe in long term. And then when the pendulum swings, it's a good time to take profits and put it back into ETH.
Yeah, definitely.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I forgot what I was going to say. It's coming to me. It hasn't there. What did you just say? The price in ETH? I forgot. I lost my train of thought.
I was just making the point that like it just doing the opposite of what you want to do right now, which is move all your NFTs to ETH and just ride that up.
Oh, okay, that's
presents a buying opportunity. Yeah.
Man, I can't believe that. I just completely lost it. It's taxes too.
Yeah.
Did you see Bob Vulgaris said tweeted out? I saw it might have even been a reply. I don't know if he tweeted it out. That eventually you'll just be able to do what rich people do and get a loan on your crypto, so you don't have to pay the taxes. So like if you get a cheap loan, of course that's way better than paying 25, 40, 50% on your crypto. Yeah. And like this is what made me think of it was, well, I can also just get this other, crypto type or NFT or something. I'm not sure what the tax implications are. Has anyone like looked into that? Like if you sell your ETH for an NFT, does that mean now you got to pay taxes on that purchase?
Yeah. As I understand it, it is two taxable events, selling the NFT and then converting the Ethereum to fiat. Those are two separate taxable events.
Can you write off your burn, the
gas?
The gas?
Yeah, I think so. And there's sites. I think it's WTF fees, and you can go look. It's like I've barely been in the game for that long, and even my number like takes my breath away when I see how much I've paid in gas fees. So yeah, I'm sure hoping as I understand it.
Not advice here, not tax advice.
No, not NFA. Remember, Brian, when you had me put that in the show description of some of my Top Shot videos, which I'm not even making fun of you for. It was very good advice. But I haven't been putting it in there lately.
Yeah, I'm like, you guys give a lot of advice. Some asshole that always comes around and ruins it for all of us, right? And then sue somebody.
I will say I mean, it's very smart for us to be cautious, but like we look like choir boys compared to some of the pump and dumps and shit that you'll see on Twitter, this kind of like paid advertisements that people are doing with these crypto. I mean, like we do truly look like angels in comparison to what is going on out there.
Yeah. I mean, I've tweeted about it before. Like my dream in life is to get enough followers where I could pump and dump an NFT for a healthy profit. And you see it out there, but it's also you kind of want it too, because if you like, I'm watching, you guys in the forums and stuff. If you know what you're doing, it doesn't hurt someone's pamping your bags a little bit, right? And if you can get out ahead of it or sell it before it goes down, or keep it or whatever.
Well, I mean, think about it too. I mean, touts in DFS and fantasy, they'll get a lot of shit, especially from regs and DFS players. But think about like the dynamic with NFT touts, where it's like a lot of the project success is just directly tied to them pumping it. Whereas like, at least with like DFS, like it actually matters what the players do on the field, on the court. Like that's ultimately what decides who wins and who loses. Touts can steer things, but it's like, it's a way bigger piece of the puzzle for NFT touts or influencers, so to speak. Like it's a huge part of the equation.
Yeah. And I know nothing about the art industry, but I would assume it's the same way. That just like certain people say, now this is cool. And so therefore now it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Brandon brings up this fun one. This is one that I'm getting a lot of entertainment out of right now. There's this kid. And again, I don't even technically know if he's a kid because he's anon. He's just decided to present as a kid. And I have no reason necessarily not to believe it, but I still think there's probably like a 20% chance he's like a 35-year-old dude. But he's apparently 16 and crushed it in NFTs as like a trader and built up a Twitter following. And then he launched his own project, HeadDAO, the other day. And he's like literally tweeting in between classes. And he's using a good chunk of the money he raised selling his NFTs to buy back NFTs for a DAO that is related to the project. So he bought a CryptoPunk, he bought a Bored Ape, all this stuff. But it's hilarious. Like, as Brandon says here, where people are getting excited every time this 16-year-old tweets. We're making jokes about, like, I hope there's a fire drill at school today so he can pump his project. Like, what the fuck is going on?
It's like, what a waste of school for this kid. Like, just get out now.
I mean, he's like, his parents, I mean, this kid's like literally, dealing with like millions of dollars, and yet is going to algebra class.
Yeah. And I had a guy I knew in high school. He was a senior when I was a freshman, and he had his own software company, and he was making, 50 times what the teachers were making, employing his friends and shit.
Yeah. There is actually confusion because there's been 2 different stories about 16-year-olds in NFTs. There was another story that Iceman is referencing last year. I don't know if you caught wind of this. There was some other project, actually a mashup of our beloved Toadz that we're trying to win tonight. Creature Toadz, like 2 projects. They had a Discord hack, and this 16-year-old hacker like drained or extracted, I think it was, I don't know what it was, like somewhere close to 1 million. Someone can let me know in the chat. And then they started talking about it on a Twitter Spaces. He hopped on the Twitter Spaces. He got so spooked by people calling him out or whatever that he returned all the money. This 16-year-old hacker found a way to get all this money and then got scared and gave it back. So these 16-year-olds, man, they are running the game right now.
What's the name of these guys? The millionaire one.
The above board one, the non-hacker.
Yeah.
Shamdu.
Shamdu.
Yeah. His Twitter handle is the Shamdu. TheShamdoo.
Okay.
He's a little kid with 30,000 Twitter followers. He's a kid. He's a good kid. He's actually pretty funny too. I like his pinned tweet. 1 DM can change your life, and that's why I don't respond to any.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So yeah, it's fucking crazy out there right now. It's absurd. Did you listen? But thinking of all these people that are just so fucking accomplished at their age, I was just listening to SBF on the Invest podcast, the guy who's going to be like the richest man in the world. Dude's 29. Absolutely insane. Did you listen to that?
No, I didn't. Which podcast? Sorry.
Invest Like the Best. Patrick O'Shaughnessy's. You know who SBF is, though? The guy who runs the FTX exchange.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I do. I think he's a philanthropist too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure it's the same guy. He's here in Chicago with someone I know he's giving a lot of money to the city.
Yeah, that he talked about that a decent amount on that podcast too, of just like I think the phrase he used was like effective altruism.
Yeah. That's that movement's been around for a while. The guy who started it was on Sam Harris like fucking 10 years ago.
Yeah. I listened. I get Sam Harris's podcast, and was it? Or am I mixing up 2 guys? He had one about contemplating death. The other day it was like a 14-minute podcast. I listened to it just randomly in between like fantasy and NFT podcasts. I was like, holy shit, man, this one's hitting me hard.
Sounds like it. Yeah. And then if you don't pay for it, then it's short. So that would make sense that it's 14 minutes.
Yeah, he's trying to lure me in to find more of his thoughts about death.
But to answer your question, I'm older than you, but even still, like, we didn't have a chance to do that shit. It's a lot easier now, right? With Twitter, YouTube, crypto, so many poker.
Yeah.
Back, poker wasn't, obviously I did it, but those things didn't exist forever. Like, how are you going to make money in the fucking 80s, 70s, 90s when you're fucking 16?
Yeah, you got to scale your lemonade stand business.
Which is illegal. Right? The cops could arrest you for not having a permit.
Yeah, I get it. That is an interesting thing. They clearly have the avenue and the tools and the resources to succeed, but you also still have to assume that these kids, like, I don't even think there's no chance that I'm fucking doing, even if I was 16 right now in this age, there's no chance that I'm, spinning up $1 million DAOs.
You know where you could have? The literal wild, wild west. Like fucking prospecting or starting a saloon or a whorehouse.
I wish you had your poker side over your shoulder for that take.
It's true, though. When it's the Wild West, there's money to be made.
Yeah. I was just gonna say we got Travis in the chat. He wanted to stop by and say thank you again for the kind words. I assume about your NBA DFS power rankings.
Yeah, that was high compliment. I mean, technically, I have Evil Empire and then a big drop, and then those 2 guys. But I didn't want to.
I was dying laughing at your tweet that when you quote retweeted Bales's tweet and then asked Jess is okay, and then he just replied, "I've never heard of him." That was a good bit.
Bales liked his tweet, but not mine. What the fuck, Bales?
Really?
Yeah, that was funny.
That what did you think of that whole exchange? I assume you saw that all.
Yeah, I've looked at it a little bit, but then someone said they're still going at it in the chat here. So I guess I need to. Maybe we should bring it up. I love this shit.
Jeez, I never thought someone named Miss Kristen would comment on one of my shows. Pete and Brick start a whorehouse in Reno as a bit.
Not anymore. It's all regulated and shit. I'm not into that.
Yeah. There's something far less cool about 2 30-something-year-old guys.
Right? Yeah, we're not 16 and 29 or whatever.
You kids can have your crypto. We're starting an old-fashioned whorehouse.
Making money the old way. Can I pay in crypto? Well, all right, yeah.
Yeah. That's what'll make it revolutionary. We could I haven't seen the latest developments. Basically, there's been a kind of like long-standing, obviously Hermsmeyer, very anti-crypto, has beat that drum for many years. Bales, obviously very pro-crypto, has beat that drum. And it seems like the tensions just kind of boiled over recently. Bales responded to one of Hermsmeyer's tweets and just kind of laid it out and said, hey, you've been very condescending about this over the years, and you're clearly not adjusting your priors. And then Bales then had another tweet today where he just went all in on calling Hermsmeyer a charlatan. So I haven't seen anything in the past hour. I haven't been on Twitter, but it sounds like they're still going.
What? So charlatan as in like he gives out betting advice and stuff, but he's not a real bettor. That's kind of what I got out of it.
Yeah, that's been another. They have a few different kind of layers to the beef, but one of those being like the skin in the game thing has been a point of contention.
Because he's 538, right?
Yeah.
And they have all these models and stuff.
Yeah.
But they're not great, right?
Yeah. Well, and I mean, so Hermsmeyer, a couple of the things he's known for in the fantasy community is, first off, the air yards by low model, which has been proven to have a very high R. It's been a solid model. I think now really good projections like bake in to those things, like what's the opportunity and usage that can point to, a player who might be undervalued. But I think the air yards have been good. And then he also was in the limelight for the defenses don't matter. And that's really where a lot of the skin in the game takes came from, because a lot of the gamblers and DFS players were like, no, this is stuff we factor into our decisions when we're building lineups, and we put our money where our mouth is with this. And you're saying defenses don't matter, but you're not actually have any skin in the game with this take. So I think those were a couple of the older things. And then there's all of the Bitcoin stuff where Hermsmeyer just always tells people to sell, says crypto is a scam, it's a house of cards, yada, yada. And so, but this has been going for years as Bitcoin continues to go up and up and up.
Peter Schiff.
Right.
He's the Peter Schiff of the sports fantasy gambling world.
Yeah. The best thing, my favorite subplot about, I don't follow the Peter Schiff stuff super closely, but I love that his son is now like a huge Bitcoin bro and like goes to the conferences and like everyone like takes pictures with Peter Schiff's son.
Spencer, I follow.
Spencer. Dude, you just follow Spencer.
It's great. Yeah, it's a good bet.
That's
Peter Schiff, he knows he's good at the content game too.
Yeah.
I think at this point he probably has 10 million in Bitcoin. He's just trolling. He's just trolling.
That's the thing too. I think people probably don't realize about Hermsmeyer enough is he's trolling. He's a big time troll. You can even go read some of the exchanges that Hermsmeyer had with Davis today on Twitter. Hermsmeyer knows he's riling people up. When he gets that notification that Bales put him on blast, he's sitting there rubbing his hands together. He loves it. So
I don't think I follow him.
Really?
He's all I can remember is he's a gigantic lib, I think. right? No,
Hermsmeyer?
maybe I have him wrong. Mixed up.
No, yeah, he's not. I mean, I wouldn't categorize him as that. That wouldn't be my first way to bucket him.
That's how I bucket everyone.
Here we go. Duarte back in the game.
Toad's back in play.
Toad's back. We're not trying to min cash. We're trying to win a fucking toad.
You're trying to cash. Trying to win a fucking toad.
I was trying to be okay with my 23 points here. Oh, my Joel Embiid plays looking nice too here.
What?
25
points. Oh, I got him too, yeah.
In the first quarter.
Maybe I should try to find my my Toadz lineup.
I think I'm in a toad, dude.
I'm sweating an actual contest.
No way, dude.
When you sort by top prize, what comes up? Like, just you're an idiot.
It does say you're an idiot for first place. No way. No way. Look who's in first right now. Are you fucking kidding me?
Who's in first? I'm not looking. Oh, fucking shit, C-Dome. Did I tell you when he
C-Dome's gonna win a toad?
When he man, I don't want to tell the story because I don't want him to block me.
No, come on, Brian. We don't censor ourselves on this show.
When I won that seat to the whatever MLB championship, he DMs me, boy, I'd like to get 2 home runs in the top of the 9th, win the seat to the championship.
Well, I'm like, just saying,
Chris, I'm driving, dude. I don't even know what you're talking about. He's like, oh, well, you got lucky and won a seat.
Dude, has the Crypto Rangers project sold out yet?
I don't know, but I
still
got one of those. I'm gonna get one of those fucking Rangers.
I think you have plenty of time. You have plenty of time to still get one of these.
You know, I caught your show yesterday briefly, and it didn't seem like everyone was bullish on the Coinbase marketplace, NFT marketplace. Well, anyway, maybe it was just Andy. I was kind of busy, so I didn't watch a ton of it. I think it's definitely going to be it's be easy for me. Just like Draftkings, you know.
Oh, I think it's going to be huge as far as on onboarding. I mean, their wait list already is just absolutely massive.
I must have missed what you were saying.
Yeah.
Okay, where am I at here? Oh man, my lineup's garbage. Oh, no toad for me.
PayPal money. You don't. I hope this is a rhetorical question. Is a Chris Randone led NFT project based off of Power Rangers a scam?
That's my guy, and I'm buying one. Not financial advice.
Wow. I think they have a white paper up on their website. Oh my God. This is incredible. I'm going to have to check out the roadmap sometime. The white paper, the Ranger roadmap. There's nothing in this. I think I got rugged on the roadmap. I'm clicking utility. All right, here we go. One main area of focus is for crypto rangers to establish innovative ways to reward collectors, and one way is our Ranger Rewards program. It sounds like something I did at national parks when I was a kid. We've begun the process of establishing brand partnerships where collectors have perks and exclusive discounts to the companies we partnered with. We're also in the works of creating tokens for our collectors where they will be able to be used as a currency to pay for things within our partnerships. This takes top-tier technology, diligent networking, strong social presence in our community to revolutionize this NFT initiative. I'm sold, Brian. It sounds like you're already sold.
Oh, yeah, I was sold. The day I found the day I got the bad news, he apologized first day, but I was still sold.
To all other NFT projects, I normally charge 1 Ethereum for this kind of promotion on the show, but we are such big fans of the Crypto Rangers that we did that for free.
It's true. You've probably given him more pub ever, even though he's blocked you.
Yeah, Jake said, I don't know why he wouldn't unblock me. I mean, if he unblocks me, I'll promote it more.
Would you buy a Crypto Ranger if he unblocks you?
How much are they going for?
I don't know, chat.
All right, let me see how much these are on OpenSea.
And you have to keep it for 6 months.
Okay, so it's a 0.054 floor on OpenSea. So that's about $224. I would not pay $224 to get unblocked there. If we can get down to, I will buy I will buy at 0.01 to be unblocked, but only if I get a assurance that I'll be unblocked.
Osidom's PMR is not looking too great here, though, to hold up.
He blew his toad early.
Yeah, blew his toad early. Lick the toad.
What's a good PMR right now?
Well, whatever. A lot of points and a lot of PMR. You don't really know yet.
Dude, I'm fucking killing the game. I have 304 PMR right now.
Oh, that's fucking really good.
Dude, I think I'm going to toad, man. Brian, if you win the toad, will you change your profile picture to the toad?
Look who's number 5. No, I'm not going to change my profile.
Dude, if you win the toad, you got to change your profile.
Who gives a fuck about a stupid toad?
Dude, it's a fucking toad that you won. You have to change it to a toad.
I don't know.
No, Brian, here's the deal. I'll Photoshop the toad onto your head.
That I'll do.
Ducking, and then you change it to that.
That I'll do.
Okay.
The White Panther with the toad on it. Look at some of the names in this. Number 5 is Chipotle Addict.
Chipotle Addict.
Number 7,
Whistles.
The Whistles Go.
We got 9th. We got DeColts.
Yeah, our buddy Steve's 9th.
Oh,
who else we got in here? Steve. He wouldn't even buy. No, I got him to buy some Bitcoin.
Why is Steve in this contest?
That makes no sense. He was crypto skeptical last year, and I got him to buy some. By the way, Steve, how much money did I make you? Huh?
And then you got McLovin in here. That fucking snake. The snake is trying to win a toad.
McLovin didn't respond, by the way, to chess. So
I heard he was going to take the high toad with kind of all this stuff.
Oh my
god! I did want to talk. Like, what kind of feedback? What kind of DMs and messages did you get from the show last week?
A lot of people were skeptical of the man.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen him at the top a bunch of times. He's definitely won like 3 mil at least. I know that he won a Millie Maker, and then he won the NBA championship one year, NFL championship. I don't remember which one it was. And I figure if he was donking that off, people would have known. If you donk off 5 million or something. So I don't know. To me, it doesn't make a ton of sense. And I think the teaching thing, like maybe he's just touting his site that his VC invested in. I don't know.
Yeah. That, I mean, there was a ton of chatter in the Deposit Kingdom Discord and the Lolz channel, like a lot of it kind of centering around this idea of, if you're such hot shit and so successful, why aren't you still playing? Why are you coaching? I mean, a lot of times people view touting as a way of like, oh, you're not good enough to make enough of a living playing, and so you supplement your income, with this. So that was kind of the crux of the issue. I thought his answer to like why he isn't of this idea of having by his process, his admission was he was spending 80 hours a week doing this. He has relatively capped upside. He admitted that the games were getting tougher. Like that stuff checked out. But it did seem like there was also still a lot of, like you said, skepticism about like his success and if he was dusted or not. Yeah,
definitely bad blood between him and Ricky D.
Yes.
What else did we find out?
I didn't get to listen to him on Blender. Did you?
I listened to it. That was pretty interesting.
What were the kind of the cliff notes from that?
Blender was trying to blender, right? So he was talking his strategy, and Chess was disagreeing with almost everything he was saying. And then he said he had some good lines in there. He's like, "You wouldn't be a good student." Blender had he had this I don't know. I think he wanted his approval, but he also wanted to think he was right. So one of their big arguments, they wasted way too much time on it, in my opinion, was so Blender doesn't want to go up in stakes. And then Petty Theft ripped on him on this too. They did a pod. He doesn't want to go up in stakes because he doesn't want to swing so much. He hates swinging. And so they go, well, it's costing you EV. And so the main argument was if you could enter the slant or the milli maker, chess says you should enter the slant. I'm sorry, excuse me, the milli maker, and blender enters the slant. And chess said, I think, that you'll swing less and make more. So I think that's wrong.
How could you swing less?
Because the slant
in the milli.
Because there's a lot better players in the slant.
Okay.
So your edge is a lot higher. I mean, I'm assuming this is what is.
I mean, the ownership has to be way more efficient in the slant.
Yeah. Slant's higher for sure. You know who? I totally forgot about this, by the way. You know, Nelson Edcock's done some studies on this stuff. I'm sure he can easily do one to fit. Someone should tweet at him. Say,
you know what Nelson's Twitter avatar is, Brian?
Crypto Ranger.
It's fucking Toad, man.
He's got a Toad.
He's got a Toad. He didn't even have to win some stupid DraftKings contest to get it either. Speaking of DraftKings contest, not stupid DraftKings contest, I do have the week 7 rake free Deposit Kingdom contest on DraftKings, $10. I have it in the Discord right now. Links down below. I'll get it in the show notes after if I remember, but the best place to get it right now is in the Discord. Rake free, $10. It will fill by Friday night or Saturday morning. So if you're trying to hop in a good contest, this is one for you. Although I will say the ownership is incredibly sharp in that DK contest, but it's rake free, so it's probably a wash.
Are you going to invite Frisco Josh?
Oh, I have done. So I did a head-to-head against Frisco Josh. What was it? 2 years ago? It was the season before COVID, but he doesn't have a DraftKings account. So he put his team on a mutual friend, Josh ADHD's DraftKings account. So I have played Frisco Josh, in a head-to-head GPP that I challenged him to, and I did win barely. But yeah, he doesn't have his own DraftKings account.
So you platformed a known charlatan?
Platformed? Dude, I mean, Brian, you know me, I'm a plus EV grinder. I hear someone, wants to, who doesn't play DFS wants to play against me. I got to take that action. That was actually back when I was a really bad DFS player too. So I got lucky to squeak that one out. But yeah, there was lots of feedback. It seemed like in general, people enjoyed the drama and kind of putting people on blast. There were other people who thought he didn't come across well in that and looked very petty. Not Travis Petty, but petty in his actions on there. But what was your final takeaway now that you've had a week to digest it?
I don't know. I thought he was fine. Yeah, I mean, I thought he was fine. The Blender interview, I could see where people, but he's like, no, you're wrong. And then what do you want him to do? I know people were commenting in the chat about his smirking or whatever. It's like, he's like, yeah, but if you tell someone, this is how it is, and then 10 times over, and then they go, no, and you're like, all right, you smirk and look to the side, I guess. I don't know.
I know, and I think sometimes too, we it's like you can't win, right? Like Whistles comes on the show, and we thought he was being too withholding and too cagey.
No.
Yes.
Okay, so here's a good example.
Yeah,
that's perfect example. So Chess was at least answering questions.
That's the point I was just about to make.
Yeah, but you said he was coming off as not answering questions. Whistles go woo. That's not how he came off to me. He came off to me like it was like an ESPN interview, and he just got it was halftime. Just gonna play the game. All right, I'll see you later.
That's what I mean. They're not actually giving anything substantial.
Yeah, he didn't give anything substantial, but he also thought we were doing a DraftKings fucking interview or something. And it's like, talk to me like a human being. I don't know. That's how I got out of it. So
there is too a different dynamic. Like we mentioned it, of all our guests that we've had on the show. I mean, Whistles was the only one that we actively pursued. Someone
That's
found
true.
his email. We asked him multiple times. He came on here basically as a favor for us requesting. Other guests that we've had on the show, like Chess, like Ricky D, Big T, people reach out to us and want to come on here and talk. So there is like a difference. You know, it'd make more sense that Chess is willing to be forthcoming versus it wasn't like Whistle's like, get me on your show to like spout off all this stuff.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. I take back slightly what I said. He's like that in every fucking interview, though. So, what did Chess say? He was like, I didn't know if he was drunk or someone else was playing his account.
Yeah, that's. I do think in general though it's fun. It's like it's good. I think for the DFS ecosystem. I mean, the thing we always say is, and we've talked about how we thought DraftKings could do a better job with some of their live finals and kind of fleshing out the storylines, trying to like build some drama and backstory. Like you have to do some narrative storytelling to make people invested in these players, and getting this stuff with Chess is okay or Ricky D or whatever. Like it's fun. It's good to get to know these guys and know how they actually feel and think and turn them into characters that aren't just avatars.
Totally agree. Totally agree. Like when we talk about how we would like to see things done, you know, like, or if we were doing it, that's definitely true. Like, we've done more to like give actual character to player names than DraftKings or FanDuel's done in 5 years. You know, I mean, honestly, like, who do you know? Like, they never have anything interesting. There's no challenges or.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess the question would be, because my first take would be like, yeah, why isn't DraftKings doing kind of long form interviews with their players? On the flip side, would we even watch those, or would they be kind of stale softball type questions, right? Like you're not going to ask Chess is okay on a DraftKings stream what he thinks about all the players and have him go bang bang down the line. Like they're not going to do that kind of interview.
And yet, like poker, people still talk about Mike Matusow, Phil Hellmuth,
right?
Daniel Negreanu. Brunson doesn't play anymore, but if he did, people like, holy shit, he's playing, you know, 20, 30 years later.
Right.
You know, or no one gives a fuck about Kandia.
And think about that, like the way ESPN would do the World Series of Poker or those contests, and you'd have the featured table. And I would get excited when I knew Phil Hellmuth or Negreanu were at one of those tables. And not even because I like cared about their play, but because they had built them out as characters. I know they were chatterboxes. I knew Hellmuth was a hothead. I knew Negreanu tried to do these soul reads. And that was fun to me. It's like now, imagine a live final with a bunch of avatar names that I don't know. And then you tell me Chess is okay is at the live final table. Like, I want to watch that. Like, I know this guy is going to say some crazy shit. He's going to be smirking. People are going to think he's like, now we have drama. Now I want to watch that.
Yes. Yeah. Like if we live stream from our phones at one of those events, we can make it fun. Like we could go and like, okay, you know, he's over there. He's right over there. Why don't you go say something?
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll continue to put that open invite if you are a big DFS reg and you want to come on here and share your story. You can tell even like Travis, who I know went on Blender's Pod recently, like these guys have lots of takes. They have lots of thoughts on this stuff. The question is, do they want to come on and go bang bang and say everything they think, or do they want to stay kind of in the shadows a bit?
Yeah, and both are reasonable.
Yeah,
choices.
I'm having Osimo on my GPP show on Friday, so we'll see if I can get some Osimo takes on the DFS gossip these days.
Oh, I'm sure he'll say something. Me and him were going to do a show. I ever tell you that?
No.
We were going to do a show, and it just didn't work out. Like it would have been, like I don't think everyone at his company wanted to do it or something like that, but it was going to be more like bullshitting about DFS and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Probably on his network. I don't remember, but yeah, we never did. It could have been interesting. I bet you'll get like 4,000 views probably for your Friday show. You get a decent amount for that.
Yeah, no, people, I'm excited to have Osimo on. Yeah, I mean, the feedback on your show last week was very well received. The only thing that's a bummer is we didn't get to do the magic trick with the Sims because so much changed.
Yeah.
By the time you you ran them versus later. But no,
Friday morning's pretty tough.
It is tough, and it's like, I know Osimo does On the Contrary. I believe, are they doing that on Saturdays now?
Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, Saturday. I
Oh
mean,
shit. Oh yeah, I'm next Saturday. I'm back on there.
yeah. I mean, that's why, like, when I do my showdown crams on Monday and Thursday nights, like, I do them at 7:30 after inactives are in. We have all the updated projections, the updated sims. Like, you can give the most valuable information possible, where it's like most non-evergreen DFS content is worthless if you're not doing it after inactives have come in. There's just too much, like, one projection change of a guy's, median projection shifting 3 points can adjust the entire sim for that entire slate,
Mm-hmm.
So it is tough. And that's why I try on Friday. Everyone wants to talk about the plays. They want to talk about that stuff, but it's like, I try to skew it as evergreen as possible. So you can listen throughout the week, or you can go back and listen to the show with Brian, and you can get some really valuable takeaways of how to think about GPPs. And that's my goal, because, like, going back and being like, oh wow, Nick Chubb is out and now Kareem Hunt, like, no one gives a shit about that anymore.
Definitely. Jake has a good suggestion for Friday for you there.
Ask Awful Mo questions only about the Evil Empire. I will see. I actually was kind of worried that Osmo might actually cancel the guest appearance now that Ben the Better has fired shots at him.
Yeah, well, there's competition. You don't. If he wants to stay number one, might not be able to make a show. Hey, change of pace really quick. Yeah. The KB Polk interview. Polk, and he's talked about this a few times on his podcast about how over the years his average viewership age goes up and it never gets any younger. And it's like, they talk about it. It seems pretty obvious to me that it was Black Friday, obviously, and just it's not nearly as popular as when we were young. And so, like, just guys aren't doing it. And so it's interesting, since your channel is so much bigger than mine, what your age ranges are and stuff like that too, because I think there's a chance, you never know, but, like, actually, I mean, it's unlikely, but, like, I think there's a chance that could happen just with sports, kind of, right? We're still in this new generation, right, where the, like, homogenous culture is kind of polarized a little bit or changed.
Yeah.
From, like, how we grew up the same way someone in the 70s grew up. We've talked about this before. And like, maybe there's, like, sports is just, like, on the back burner, so no sports betting, no DFS.
Yeah. I also think a hard thing to untangle from that, though, is just that people kind of grow up with that content. There's a certain kind of poker fan that, like, has grown up with Doug Polk's content, and that resonates with them. And, where Doug Polk isn't necessarily maybe going to be as relatable to some 18-year-old who's just starting out or whatever. I know this girl who is a very, very successful, like, lifestyle blogger, and she started her brand when she was in college, and now she's a mom, and her audience, like, she's not marketing to college kids anymore. She's now a mom blogger, and she's talking about stuff for kids and clothes and all of that. And it's like, her audience has grown up with her, and that's her audience. It's not like, well, I'm still trying to, like, talk about fashion for college kids. Like, that audience doesn't care about her anymore. And I it's probably not quite as transferable to DFS because it's less, age and life specific. But I do think there is that element of, like, who you relate to. I mean, you look at my demographics, and I'm probably, like, in the smack dab the middle of, like, most of my audience is 25 to 40-year-olds. It's like, I think people do resonate, like, in those pockets a decent amount.
25 is pretty young. He was saying like 28 is pretty rare for him or something like that.
Well, we did that experiment in the chat. Was it about a month ago?
That's right. Yeah.
There were a lot of young kids that, or at least if they weren't lying, that said they watched the show.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. And my like, 1 in a million, maybe not 1 in a million, 1 in 100,000 chance that this just all kind of isn't as popular. It doesn't necessarily have to happen for a while, maybe like the next generation.
Yeah. Paul's asking, this question, and I've seen this floated a lot, just kind of with, everyone. I feel like we've been saying sports betting is coming for like 3 years. That's been a talking point.
Yeah.
But he asked, how much longer do you think DFS will be around once the majority of states allow sports betting? And I'm sure this is something you have contemplated a lot. What's your current take on it?
So it's pretty much the same I've always had. I'm fine with sports betting. I don't think it's going to hurt DFS that much. I know most people, I think, disagree with that. I just think it's a different form of entertainment, although similar. Like maybe they'll, okay, so they'll burn up some money in the sports book, like players you could likely beat. But there's going to be sports bettors who are going to burn money in DFS too. But they're just two different forms of entertainment. I think there's enough money to go around. Yeah, I'm not worried about it at all. And I'm not really worried about that DK is only focusing on sports betting, this kind of trope where they're just going to focus on sports betting and phase out DFS, or they don't care about us or something like that. It's like, why would Walmart, phase out a section of their store? Like, even if we just broke even and Betsperts or something, they'd still keep it around. But I bet it makes money. They don't have to focus on it anymore because they're regulated. Once they're moded off by the state, helps them mode off competition, they don't have to concentrate. They don't have to give us bonuses. So like when the guys are on Twitter saying, hey, the DK customer support's bad now, it's like, yeah, shut the fuck up. Don't bring attention to yourself. Like, they don't care anymore. Like, the state has put them number one with very little competition and very little competition in the future. They don't need to buy your love anymore.
Right. Yeah. And then I think the question is, can you survive? Can the industry survive on that kind of cruise control mode, versus in a perfect world, right? You'd want them very attentive, adapting the games. We joke all the time. We want an assistant to the regional captain. If Draftkings primary focus was DFS, we'd probably have more interesting game types. We'd probably have really good super flex contests on Draftkings where we could play 2 QBs. We'd have an assistant captain on Showdown. We'd probably get these things. So that's the question to me, is like, how sustainable is it in cruise control without innovation?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you have a whole bunch of competition for, I don't know, like a mechanic or something around the town here, it's like you could go shop and like tell them what you want specifically. They might change, or like a store, like a small grocery store versus Walmart. You know what I mean? The small grocery store might be like, oh, we'll order that for you. We'll stock that. Where Walmart's gonna be like, no, this is Walmart, dude. You buy it or get the fuck out. Yeah. They don't care. They don't have as much incentive anymore. How about that? That's basically it. They don't have as much incentive to cater to us as VIPs. And by the way, I'm not saying like, complain all you want. I'm just saying, like, I do think there's a chance, like I said, that they're going to start banning us.
Yeah.
The winning players. And I don't think it's going to do as much good as they think it will, unless you ban a whole shit ton of them and really flatten the curve. But even there, the shape of like just skill games is, like the Pareto principle. It's just like goes basically straight up when you get up to the people producing all the outcomes. And so unless you get rid of all of them, but then even that'll probably in due time just go right back to a shape like that. It'll be good for you till you get banned. And then that'll cause all sorts of problems too. Because then, like, I was thinking about this earlier, like someone should buy Ben the Better's account and just get like, $300,000 down, taking every single person against them.
That would be incredible.
For as long as you can, until people would figure it out. And it'd take them a while, but they'd figure it out. They always do.
Imagine a marketplace for Square sports betting accounts.
So if they start banning everybody, that's what will happen.
Yeah.
I guarantee it. They will it'll be like Spanky and Rufus in sports betting. People, your shitty Square account will become valuable, and then they're gonna start using them.
There you go. So here's the spin zone. If you're a shitty sports bettor, hold out hope that one day that account will become very valuable because you're so bad at betting sports that you can cash out on it.
So watching all this content of Pete's and mine didn't do anything for you. Well, you guys still got shot.
Yeah, you still have that Hail Mary. What's your long-term goal? Being a shitty enough sports bettor that I can sell it to Spanky for $100,000.
Well, if I don't bink this toad,
how we look at which one of our friends is winning a toad right now?
Let's see.
C-Dome still in first.
The PMR though, that PMR is not going to hold up. Oh, Chipotle addict.
All right, I'm feeling pretty good, dude. I mean, tell me right now, Mr. Robot, 235 PMR. What's a good point total to have?
Well, you probably have more than me. I have 110.5. How many you got?
Yikes. 142.25.
Oh, you're kicking my ass.
I think I'm in a toad.
You're not getting that fucking toad.
Dude, how tilted will you be if I get this toad?
I want you to win it. I want you to win it.
Thank you. I want you to win it too. I want one of us to win it because I get to make a Photoshop that you have to change to your profile picture.
Yeah, I'll do it.
My only question is if I want your head to be the toad or if I want you to be dunking the toad. That's kind of really the only decision point I have now.
I didn't even think about that. See, this is why you're the best. That's very creative. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you as always for tuning in to Lolz, a hangover episode after last week's absolute heater. We do have hoodies up in the store if you want your Lolz hoodie. I saw a couple of those get ordered last week. They're very comfy. Brian, we'll get the audio up on the podcast feed in about an hour or so. Anything else you'd like to plug?
I did some prop bets. If you want to check them out, I did ownership for PGA, but it already started. It's a nighttime DG.
Wow, that's it.
That's it. Subscribe to the podcast if you guys can. We have we were ranked 30th
after the chess pod.
Yeah. So even if you don't listen to it, just subscribe to it.
There you go.
We'll start ranking.
Yeah, also hop in the Discord if you haven't. We got the Lolz channel in the Deposit Kingdom. Like I said, that's where you can also find the link to the Rake Free contest on Draftkings, and it's the gossip corner for everything discussed on Lolz. Lots of good conversation in there as well today. So follow Brian on Twitter at Brian Hooper _. I'm Peter Overzet. We will see you guys next week.